By the very definition of the phrase, diametric opposites cannot be the same thing at the same time. A dog cannot be a cat. A Marvel television show cannot have a cohesive, sensible storyline. And something hard cannot be easy. Until now on guitar, because we're talking about some chords or keys that people think are hard, and we're going to make it super easy. We're going to do all the chords in the key of F, which is a key a lot of people avoid. You'll see a lot of people putting capo on the 2nd fret or the 7th fret to turn chords into key of C shapes or key of G shapes or key of D shapes. But we're going to talk about the key of F and go over everything that you'll ever need to know and kind of make things really easy. All right? So any key consists of 7 notes. Any of those 7 notes can become 7 chords. Okay? So it's actually really easy to play all the notes and chords in the key of F, all right? Now there's just one flat, B flat, so it's F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E. Super easy to play on a guitar, okay? So we start on the 1st fret of the low E string. So we have an F and a G, 1 and 3, then we have A, B flat, C, open 1, 3, then open 2, 3, open 2, 3, 1, 3, open 1, 3. Okay, so we have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. Alright, so right off the bat, that might be a lot if you haven't really thought about different notes and how they kind of go into chords and stuff like that. So we're going to break this down into smaller sections that are going to make a lot more sense. But first, I want to go over the chords in the key of F, all right? First of all, if you've ever tried to play F bar chord and you have trouble, don't worry about it. You never need to play it as a bar chord. I personally think this sounds better as a major 7 chord anyway, right? But we'll do it both ways. So instead of barring the 1st fret, I want you to start with your pointer finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Then you're going to take your middle finger and go to the 2nd fret of the G string, and then your pinky on the 3rd fret of the D string, and your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, all right? So there's your 1 chord in the key of F, F major, right? If we get that high E string there, it's an F major 7. If not, it's just a regular old F major, all right? So all of those notes that we did earlier will sound great in combination with this chord, all right? Now you can make it even easier and just play it like this, all right? Where it's just 1, 2, 3, B string, G string, D string, like that, almost like a staircase effect. And actually, I think this is going to be a great way to go through all the chords in this key, but making them as easy as possible, all right? So your pointer finger is just going to chill here for a long time, all right? We're going to make this super easy by not even moving this. This is a C note, by the way, 1st fret on the B string. You got that there. The 2 chord in this key is G minor. A lot of people kind of avoid a G minor because they think it's like difficult. They think you have to play like this bar chord version of it. But there's actually a really easy way to play a G minor, and it looks like this, okay? If you take this F major chord, and then you just take your middle finger to the G, the 3rd fret on the low E string, and then we're going to skip the A string, get 3D and 3G. This is a G minor 11 chord, which takes the place of a G minor chord. You can always use this instead of a G minor chord, and I think it sounds great. I think it sounds even better in most cases, right? So we have the 1 chord to the 2 chord. You can just jam on that. The 3 chord, remember F, G, A. A is the 3rd note in the key, goes to A minor. Look at that. Pointer finger stays where it is. You probably already know A minor. Ring finger 2nd fret on the G string, middle finger 2nd fret on the D string. All right. Now that 4 chord in the key of F. F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major. Another one that people are like, I'm out. I don't want to play B flat major. That's stupid. I hate it. It's the hardest thing in the world if you look at the Mel Bay chord book or whatever. But guess what? It's just an A major chord, a fret higher. So it's just the 3rd fret on the D, G, and B strings. Again, there's more creative ways we could play. You know, we can turn that into a major 7 chord. A lot of different ways to do it, but we're doing this as easy as possible. And you can actually still keep your pointer finger there, and then just really take this G minor 11 chord that we did earlier, and then just move everything down a string along with your middle finger down to the D string. And there's your B flat. The nice thing about this voicing specifically is when my pinky is grabbing the 3rd fret on the B string, it's actually kind of spilling over and muting the high E string. Because you may have tried this before, and if you just like take an A major chord and you move it, it sounds bad when you get that open strings. But as soon as you mute the open strings around it, it's perfectly fine. All right? So the B flat is the 4 chord in the key of F, which you'll always see. And then we go to C major. Everybody loves C major. In order to do that, your pointer finger has been here the entire time. Even in that B flat chord, it's just kind of like being obstructed where you can't even hear that C note, right? But now we go back to C major, and then we're back in the game. So ring finger 3A, middle finger 2D. Then we go to the 6th chord, D minor. You just move your pointer finger down a string. And then I usually use my pinky for a D minor. You can use your ring finger if you want. 3rd fret on the B string, 2nd fret on the G string. And again, those are the main 6 chords. And then for a special bonus, we've got this E minor 7 flat 5, where it's just 3 B and 1 on the A string to give us that diminished quality. And then back home. So to recap, 1, F major, 2, G minor, 3, A minor, 4, B flat, 5, C major, 6, D minor, 7, E half diminished, back home to F. Okay? So I think that's a lot easier than playing like F major, G minor, A minor, B flat major, C major, D minor. Again, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but we're just trying to make this as easy as possible, all right? So we know all the chords that go in there, and they're all in that same spot. We never had to travel past the 3rd fret on the guitar to get into any of them. So it's a very efficient way to go through those. And if you can do it quickly, more power to you, all right? Now let's talk about how we can incorporate some of those notes from the beginning into the chords, all right? Let's just focus on the higher strings. Remember when we went through the scale, if we just go B and E string, 1, 3, open, 1, 3, right? Just like that. C, D, E, F, G. We can play these over an F major chord, okay? What I mean by that is we're putting a melody on top. When we say on top, that means we make the melody note the highest note in the chord. So we're gonna use these notes, again, high E string, 3, 1, open, B string, 3 and 1, to put on top of an F major chord, all right? So if we go backwards from the top, we're adding a G note to an F. We can think of this as like an F add 9 or something like that, right? Then we can actually go to the F major triad. All I'm doing is lifting my pinky up, and then now my pointer finger is grabbing the 1st fret on the B and E string. So there's F with a G, F with an extra F. I can open up that high E string, F major 7, F with an E. I can add my pinky to the 3rd fret on the B string. Now it's a D. Now it's like F with a D. And then here, right? So now I'm playing around with just an F major chord. And now I've kind of added like a little melody run, which I think a lot of people think is like kind of hard to do, to play a melody at the same time as you play a chord. But all I'm doing is I'm really just subtly manipulating that chord and then kind of making it sound a little more musical, back and forth. And then you can do this with really any of the chords that we already went over. And that's kind of like what I think is a cool thing musically, is when you keep a melody the same or similar, and then change the chord that you're accompanying that melody with. And again, this is really just kind of like, now it's kind of morphed into a lesson about adding melody and accompanying chords, which I think a lot of people think is like a hard or an advanced topic, but really when you break it down to just the core chords in a key and then a very simple melody, we can do that with any of the things that we already did, right? We could do the same thing with, let's go F to A minor, right? I'm just maneuvering my hand so I can get that, right? So F. To A minor. Maybe I'll go to C next. Back to F. Okay, so that's just like a very, very easy way to take maybe some things that a lot of people would consider more difficult concepts. Adding chords to melodies, adding a scale into a chord progression, and kind of like navigating through them while playing. Well, really, these aren't really open chords. We have used the open E string to make, a few of them work out a little bit. But there's so much really cool stuff that you can do in the key of F. It's one of my favorite keys to play in. And, the open strings do help you out to a point, but it's great because whereas in the key of C, in the key of G, like those ones we talked about earlier, that a lot of people tend to prefer using a capo to get to those shapes. A reason they do that is because all the open strings help them out. The nice thing about having that B string be out of business, out of order for what we're doing, is you have to take a little bit of more thoughtfulness into it to just kind of avoid that, but do it in a very thoughtful way, right? So again, really fun way to kind of practice these. I'm also going to link you to a guided practice session I did with just learning chords and kind of like playing along with them. So if you already have your guitar out and you want to actually do a guided practice, definitely check that out. That'll be the top link in the description. And join the Patreon, because I've got a ton more lessons like this and more guided stuff on there too. So check that out. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.